Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stigma Stompers, Nami County, PA's one and only podcast. I am one of your hosts, Abby.
And I'm the other host, Heather.
Today, we are bringing to you another special guest, Tyler Smilo. He is a local musician. He has over 100 songs, over 10 albums. He tours with Smilo and the Ghosts, his band, and he has 7 years of sobriety under his belt. So thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on 7 years of sobriety. That's fantastic. So I just want to jump right in. When people are listening to your albums, they're hearing pieces of your life. So do you see your music almost like chapters of your story? And can you kind of talk about your music a little bit?
So, for sure, I came up with this concept a couple of years ago to do a songs and stories, and the very first one I did was kind of more chronological, because I do write very much kind of where I'm at, what I'm going through, like from the subconscious, and then, you go through addiction, you go through treatment, you get into recovery, you relapse, you do it over and over again, and then you're looking at like a body of work and kind of from a bird's eye view, and you're like, wow, the chapters are kind of all there. And then now with being clean for some years, the process has changed a little bit with writing. I can kind of go in and I kind of think of it as like a sea of content or a sea of like I can pull from,
I like that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you remember the first song where you felt like you were really kind of telling the truth about what you were going through? Like, really could feel that song, kind of.
So I don't know exactly. It's weird. Like I don't even really know how many. I know I've released probably about 100 songs, but there was probably 100 before that like I don't remember. If I heard now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I remember.
Yeah.
But the one that really sticks out to me is a song called "Blood in the Water," and it's probably one I'll play here today.
Yeah.
But it was I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, and I had been strung out on heroin. And I didn't start using in high school. I was kind of naive in high school. I started using when I moved to Pittsburgh for the Art Institute, and kind of failed out of school and was there for several years after. And there was a day that I was kind of forced out of where I was living. I was living with a girlfriend and some friends, and they were like, kind of like, get the heck out of here. And I had a big long detox process, and the song "Blood in the Water" came after that.
Okay.
And it was, I think it's probably one of the most notable for me.
Yeah.
That touched on what was happening at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with, like you said, you kind of have like the sea of everything you've gone through, put it together. Do you tend to write songs in the middle of your emotions, like as you're feeling it, or do you kind of like wait until the situation and then just kind of, I don't know, just kind of process them after that?
So years ago, it was interesting. Like there was a pattern emerging where I would be in active addiction, and I'd play all the time. Like when I was in active addiction, I didn't have a job. I wasn't like somebody that like I use, but I still go to work.
Yeah.
I was like, when I'm using, I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm finding places that it's acceptable to freeload and kind of play guitar all day and use drugs, and which is crazy to think about, because at those times I'd play for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
But I wasn't really writing. Very rarely was I coming up with like a finished piece. So a lot of what I was writing would come when I would go to treatment, because I've been in 4 or 5 treatment programs, and I've usually gone for extended periods of time. I think I did the math. I've spent more than 3 whole years
Oh, wow.
of my adult life in treatment centers. So I would write a lot there. And when you're fresh off of a detox and in that environment, I'd say you're very much in your feelings.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting. I've been clean for over 7 years, and I don't really have those life-altering end of days type emotions. And yeah, I don't play like as much as I used to, but it's more so like hope this is answering your question.
No, it totally
It's more so like, okay, I need to kind of exercise this. It is kind of like medicine or therapy for mental health. Like I need I've accumulated these thoughts and feelings and day-to-day paranoia and weird stuff that kind of started me using to begin with. These type of like feelings that I'm learning to deal with, clean and sober, and I'll kind of go into like a writing session or, it's really interesting too. Now that I've had some time to kind of process my life and how I function as an adult who's clean and sober and trying to work on mental health all the time, I find like windows where I'm more creative. Because that's the one thing about drugs and alcohol was like, while you were using them, it would tell you, it was like, oh, I need this to be creative.
Right.
I know something that will take me exactly where I want to be for $20, and obviously it's a dead end. But so like mornings, pre-coffee, I feel like I can write and be creative. Once I'm like super caffeinated for the day, my logical brain is kicked in and I can't write.
No, that
Or
definitely
super
makes
late.
sense.
I don't stay up super late anymore, but like if everybody's asleep and it's like 2-3 in the morning and I'm being really quiet, I can kind of channel the writing. But I don't sit around and write constantly like I used to.
Well, that's
Hopefully that answered it.
that
way.
absolutely
It definitely
did. Yeah, I never even knew you lived in Pittsburgh and any of that. That's really cool.
I'm hard on myself sometimes because I feel like if you really wanted to be more successful with music, you'd be you'd clock in at 8 a.m. and you'd write all day long. For the type of music I write, like it's not like I'm going home right after this and I'm putting together a song and this is what I want it to be about. It's like you're kind of waiting.
Yeah, when it's that personal, when it's telling you have to kind of, I'm sure, wait for that inspiration a little.
Yeah, I feel like forcing it too, it's not going to be as good as the stuff that comes just naturally. And I feel like with some artists, it can feel forced, where you can tell like they needed to pump out something rather than it coming from like their actual a piece of them.
I hear so much of that in like super pop or like really poppy country music where it's like, okay, there was a board meeting involved. This is a song that we think this person could sing. They've got the look, they've got the sound, like we know that this formula will make a lot of money, and I can hear that in music. And it's not something that I do.
No, that's a good thing because you really can tell when it really connects. Like when I was at 1020 Collective watching you play. I mean, you can feel your songs. Like they're very powerful. So
it hasn't really led me to piles of money, but
that's all right. A lot of times
I eat food every day, so
hey, that's the way
your
to
bills
do
are
it.
paid and you're able
And
to
a lot
eat
less
food.
stress. You don't have to worry about board meetings and all of that stuff. It's just you and your music. So when you wrote Already Dead, what were you kind of processing emotionally? I really like that song.
I'm trying to think. Sometimes I have to sit and try to remember when I wrote a song or I wrote that one early in recovery. And I think at the time my mom is not an addict and never really used drugs and never really understood what I was going through, but always kind of showed up in those moments, maybe the only person that showed up in those moments. And I think that song is a little bit about how me kind of realizing that nobody could save me from there wasn't a therapist, there wasn't a rehab, or wasn't a parent or a spouse or my son that was going to be the deciding factor in me getting clean and sober.
Yeah.
And that the decision had to be mine. And I think a lot of times I was always going to appease somebody else.
Yeah.
Or trying to make mom happy, or, I'm going to go to rehab so she's not so stressed out, that, yeah. So some of that and some other stuff too. Yeah, hopefully that.
It is hard to understand. Like, I have somebody in my family that has some addiction issues, and I went to Al-Anon to learn because I was doing everything wrong.
Well, it's like if they love me enough,
if they
or they
love
love
me enough,
their family enough, they would stop.
And then if they would go into rehab, I would expect, even if they went just to please me, oh, well, something's going to catch, and they're really going to want to be there. But it's not like that. You really have to want to do it for yourself because, believe me, I tried so many times. I went to Al-Anon, they're like, you're doing everything completely opposite of what you should. I'm like, all right. It's a learning experience, to support somebody as well.
Yeah, it's so wild. Like, so many times I went into long patient treatment centers or rehab centers, and like there was like a switch that like was not turned on, and like you'd hear all this stuff, like Narcotics Anonymous, which I'm involved in, and have been since I've been clean, and I have a sponsor and I sponsor people. There's like all these readings that I remember hearing when I was like forced to go to these meetings like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they like didn't mean anything to me at the time. Like I couldn't hear what it was saying or how it related to me. And at some point, like a switch was turned on. I guess it's willingness or a higher power or what, but it just incapable.
Yeah.
I was incapable of hearing.
You could have probably heard that several times back before, and it
Didn't
never
make
meant anything, never made sense. And then you hear it one time, it's like, boom, like, oh, that's
I think a big thing, too, is like it doesn't, like, and I guess this is where people say addiction is a thinking disease. Mm-hmm. It's even acknowledged as one, but medically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But living through it, like, there was such a factor for me that was like, this doesn't apply to you, block out this information. There was a self-preservation to continue doing what I was doing. Like there was something there that's like, no, keep doing what you're doing. We're on this way of, and it's kind of weird and scary.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I don't think anyone said that 7 years that's awesome.
And too, it's interesting. I've had some clarity in the past where I've acknowledged some of this stuff, and I've gone out and used just one time, and it will wipe the memory. It will restart.
Oh yeah.
So I have been to a place where like I've understood a lot of this, and used again, and it just immediately goes away. So it can. Yeah, I know if I use any drug or alcohol right now, I can.
Yeah.
Forget all of it.
Because you might not always. Sometimes you fall down and you don't always get back up like that. So, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that's where people really don't understand. And if hopefully no one ever experiences it so that they do get it. But that, like, it is a disease in your brain. Like, there's no fighting it. Like, it sounds as simple. If you're not struggling with an addiction, it sounds as simple as just, well, stop doing that. Like, if you love me, you'll stop. It's just not that easy.
Yeah, the very kind of cut and dry, black and white thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an idiot. Like,
yeah.
No duh. Like, if you do heroin, it ruins your life. Like, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't do that. Well, it's like, well, you're not in that situation. You might not have that same brain chemistry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's something very real to it, and I'm thankful every day that I've lost the desire to use.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a song that listeners tell you resonates with them the most, like emotionally or like through their own life challenges that they've gone through?
This is an interesting question, and it goes back to we were talking about like popular music, and the whole idea behind popular music is creating one song that is going to make you a lot of money. And the interesting thing about Smilo and the Ghost and the songs that I've written is that we hear that about all sorts of different songs. Like, oh, that, like Hideaway King, like I really love what you... None of them have been like this huge popular success, but so many of them are touching people in different ways. Yeah. So, you might have 12 people that they're not all loving the one song with the most streams. And we see that with our records too. They all songs are equally streamed the same amount of time. There's not one song that's got 4 million streams and the other have a few thousand.
Right.
They all have kind of been different things to different people. So many, like Hideaway King is one that I know that has talked to a lot of people, spoke to a lot of people rather. Blood in the Water, the one I mentioned earlier, just like a lot of different ones. And then we do write some to kind of be upbeat and with the band to get people dancing and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta do that too.
You have to play the game a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I kind of want to talk more about some of the harder chapters. So if there's any questions you don't want to answer,
I'll answer them.
Feel free. At one point of your life did addiction start to become a part of your story? And you mentioned it a little bit, but...
So I remember... So addiction started for me, like actually using substances when I was in high school. And I was in 9th or 10th grade. But it's interesting. I remember as a kid, it seemed like me and my brother, but apparently more so me. My mom would go grocery shopping, and she'd get like all the junk food snacks of the time, and fill up the cupboards. And I remember just like not being able to stop, like eating Dunkaroos. Yeah. Or like she would buy like a 24 pack of Slim Jims, like I would eat 24 Slim Jims, like just noticing that like I was getting some sort of hit from food, dopamine hit or whatever, and just not being able to stop. And I remember constantly, I can't believe you ate 3 gallons of ice, So I think that for sure I had like one's too many and 1,000's never enough then. Yeah. That's why I don't keep sweets in my house today. If we get, my fiance's got 2 boys and I have a son. And we try to feed them super clean and healthy, but like we will, you guys, it's Saturday night, let's get some ice cream or whatever. I will be up at like 3 a.m, like secretly eating triple chocolate ice cream. But I started smoking pot in high school, and I didn't really stop. And then when I was around 18 or 19, I started using cocaine, and I didn't stop either. I remember thinking, like, oh, my God, this is exactly how I want to feel forever. And, I think it's, to keep moving on it, that topic, had giant feelings, and I had some trauma happening with my home life. And I think at that time, drugs and alcohol offered me something, because I remember being in high school I remember being suicidal, and I would think about suicide a lot, and kind of glamorized it or romanticized about suicide in high school, and it gave me this feeling like, I don't know how to describe it, but there was some weird like, oh, people won't see me here tomorrow because I'm gonna kill myself, and like nobody knows that information but me. Just kind of very strange thinking. Yeah. And when I started using, it kind of took all that away, and it made me feel, made me feel good. Yeah. And until it doesn't. But I've said this, I've spoken recovery settings where I've told my story, and I'm not going to lie about the fact that the reason that drugs and alcohol were so compelling to me is because they really offered me a solution to my problems at that time.
Yeah.
But you come to find out that they're just a symptom of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they offer me no real resolution. But at that time, they offered me a very sound, it felt very sound solution to the obsession with like not wanting to be around anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, that there was I think, and the funny thing too is like when you get clean, that doesn't go away.
Right.
If anything, you've amplified it by messing with how your brain works, right? So now you're in a treatment center, you're going through physical withdrawals, the mental anguish of it all, and now all the feelings that you've been numbing forever, like the suicidal thoughts, the guilt, the shame, like I can't believe what I did to get that last bag, all that stuff comes back tenfold. And I think that's why most people don't get clean. Because at that point, it's easier to say, I can't take this anymore. I've got to go back to the medicine.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, I can't go back to the medicine. And I think music was a huge factor in that. I knew there was something special in the music. So I was like, I got to do this art. I got to help other people and hang on. But my first couple years of recovery were pretty miserable.
I think that's the hard
That's
part.
common,
A lot of
yeah.
people,
Yeah.
say they start off like self-medicating. They're like,
Yeah.
this kind of works. And I think sometimes the stigma of getting mental health help keeps them from, because, there probably is something else that would work much better for them to heal through their trauma, whether it's
Yeah.
therapy or other kind of medications or support groups, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's hard when that's the easy route kind of, and it's tough because it does numb the pain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really just like a vicious catch-22.
Yeah.
And I understand because I've done it so many times. But like just hanging on is a lot of it.
Yeah.
The 12 steps were huge for me too.
Yeah.
Working with other people that have done it. Like my sponsor's younger than me, but I think he had maybe 8 or 9 years when I started working with him.
Wow.
Wow.
And I know he ran with like gang life and stuff out in Las Vegas early on. And
Wow.
yeah, I just being able to sit down with somebody like that and kind of tell him what I was going through and him say, me too.
Yeah.
Or tell him some of the deepest, darkest things that I had ever done and him going, yeah, me too. But then being able to see how he's living now,
Yeah.
like that's what got me clean.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sounds like you have a really good sponsor.
Yeah. You kind of talked about how songwriting helped you. Is there any of your music that reflects that struggle you were going through at that time, or any time really, from the start of the addiction through getting clean or even relapsing? Or
Oh, there's so much of it. There's so many when I do the songs and the stories thing, where that's an event I've done every year for the past 5 years. And it started with what I said earlier, like this idea of like, oh, I could sit down and talk about my addiction and my recovery, and I could play the songs along the way. It's funny when I go to do the set list for that every year. There's like 30 songs at least that I'm like talking. Some of it's vague. I mean, I think too that's why the songs and stories thing is cool, because I can give you specific insight. So when you hear that song that might not have. You might not have got that from it just naturally. You're like, oh, shoot, that makes a lot of sense. I think Hideaway King, again, is another one. It's not like a one we play constantly in Smilo and the Ghost, but the first verse talks about there's something in the water that makes me feel calm. There's something in the water that makes me belong. And I can't speak. I don't want to speak. Hideaway King. And then the second verse is there's something in the water that's deceiving. It's something in the water that's a heathen, and now I'm stealing and lying and all this stuff, and then And then the third verse is that like I finally found something true. You know, I think that kind of there's 3 verses there that kind of talk about the progression. Very, very kind of, I guess, vaguely and very quickly, but they kind of sum up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just so much. I spent so much time with therapists and
Yeah.
in the rooms of recovery that like I could talk about this stuff all day.
Hey, that's great. So can we. So, hey, it might be an all-day podcast.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's see. You have a song, Blood of My Father,
Yeah.
which is a song tied to heritage and identity and personal roots. How does your family or personal history show up in your songwriting?
So blood. I remember being 12. So I was adopted by a physician, podiatrist, and he married my mom when I was about 6 years old, and his John Smilo. So my last name is through adoption. My biological dad. My parents had me when they were 17, and they were living in Texas. Both families were kind of religious, and both families very much so. Like, you're 17, you're not married, you shouldn't have this kid. But you know, from what my mom says, that wasn't going to happen, and so they did like a shotgun wedding type thing. Shortly after my mom was pregnant with my little brother, I was not even 2 yet, and my biological dad took off. And he, you know, I kind of vaguely heard what was going on. Previous to being 12, I kind of heard a little bit about it, and I knew that he just wasn't in the picture. But I remember getting a letter from a penitentiary in Texas when I was 12 years old, and it was my father saying, like, I think you're old enough to hear about me. And he kind of went in detail about how he'd been in and out of prison, and he struggled with drugs and alcohol. So the song "Blood of My Father," and then, you know, I kind of became pen pals with him for some time, and then he got out and disappeared for a while, and then he got sent back to prison, and then we would do phone calls, and then he's there now. He's in prison now, but he got out. We started doing regular phone calls. Still never seen him since, but we're doing regular phone calls, even just like when I first got clean, I think 6-7 years ago, and then got out and disappeared again. And now he's back in prison and trying to talk to me. And at this point, I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
you know, you were just out for 2 years. You couldn't make an effort to call me once when you were out of prison. But like when you're there and you're sober, you feel super guilty about it and want this relationship. And the moment you're out, you just keep doing what you've always done.
Yeah.
So that song talks about, I think, the disease of addiction through genetics. Very kind of broadly, but
Yeah.
That's
being so much like somebody you've never met, you know.
at least he gave you the content for your songs
Yeah,
too,
yeah, yeah,
because you know that's a lot. You learn through those tough
I'm like, well, thanks for the
times, and
songs,
it's like,
Dad.
Yeah, thanks a lot. At least I got one song.
Thanks for never being there for me, Dad. That's funny.
Oh, all right. Another song we'll talk about. When people hear the song "A Farmer," they might think it's like simply a story about somebody just kind of working the land. But is a farmer meant to represent something bigger, like perseverance, struggle, personal growth? Is there some kind of symbolism or?
The farmer came along we were recording the album Twang and Fire, and Smilo and the Ghost had done, we did like a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo where we raised money, and if you donated X amount of dollars, you got this in return. So that was a complete crowd-funded record, and has done a lot of awesome stuff for us over the last couple of years. That came out in 2024. But we had rented an Airbnb in Cleveland area, and we were recording that album out there, and sitting around the table the night of one of the sessions, that kind of song came out of thin air. Like, it was just like, the lyrics and everything just kind of came about in like 15 or 20 minutes.
Wow.
And it's all of
I
our,
love
we
that one.
we love that song. I love that song. It's one of my favorites on the
Very
record.
cool song.
But the chorus is, I almost have to sing, oh, my brother, should have been a farmer. So I think what I'm talking about in that chorus is like, life would have been a lot easier if I would have just done something simpler.
Yeah.
And it says learn to grow. It's playing on the, growing out a farm, but learn to grow. I wish I could have grown like everybody else, like everyone else does, feeling like I didn't quite develop or mature like the average person, I don't think.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have been easier if I did.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so you kind of resonate with
Yeah.
that character.
yeah.
Kind of
Spiritual growth from the farm.
I love that. Hey, I can't believe I'm always amazed with like songwriting, like how you say all the words, sudden the words just like came to you. Like I wish that happened to me sometimes, where it's like, I mean, that's awesome. I tried to write poetry and I sit there for like an hour. I'm like, oh, writer's block. Maybe later.
I've read so many books about songwriting and creative writing. Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Way, I think it was called. And then Effortless Mastery is another book. And then there's another book I read called The War of Art. And they all these people talk about creative writing, like channeling the muse. Mm-hmm. Some of the literature that I've read even goes as far as like you're getting it from like angels and demons, which is really wild, right? But I can definitely acknowledge that like you're kind of given music. I feel like I'm given music.
Yeah.
Because like days that I'm not feeling it, I could sit there for 5 hours and it's like I don't even know how to do it.
Right.
So it's not like I'm going to go home right after this and I'm going to write this song. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like in some weird way, you're kind of giving it as you need it. So,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Our brains are, it's wild how our brains work. I can just have a total block and then all of a sudden, whew.
Yeah.
Another song, Hope and Hurt, captures the emotional push and pull people feel, not even just with substances, but honestly, anyone could relate.
Yeah.
What inspired that song?
The story of that song is funny. Smilo and the Ghost was on one of our trips, and our bass player Jay, he's the oldest member, and he doesn't like me telling anybody. He's in his mid to late 50s, and we love him to death. Me and him started the band, and there's a picture of me writing us kind of writing it in real time in a double bed hotel room, and Jay is sleeping in the other bed, like. But yeah, there's a picture of that on the internet, but it's really funny. But yeah, I think it talks about finding hope in the hurt, finding. I think pain can be a beautiful thing if you do something productive with it. Like if you struggle for 20 years with substance abuse and relationships and being a father and all these things, and then it just kills you, like feel like all that pain was in vain,
Yeah.
But for somebody to kind of struggle and then come out the other side and be able to talk about it and stomp on stigma.
I think, our stories,
Exactly.
our stories are our
You're getting
strength. But really, it is. We always say that our story is our strength, and
Yeah. Oh, I tell that, I say that a lot too when I'm working with guys in recovery, that like we have superpowers, and with balance, it's a superpower. Unchecked, it'll kill you.
right.
But like that song, I want to make amends to all my friends. What doesn't break us can make us. There's hope living in our bones. This hurt has shattered our homes. All this kind of stuff. That song was awesome because it was it was one of the first that had the hope element. I think previously I had a lot of songs that I think were touching in a way that like that it put a magnifying glass on the pain of the situation, but it didn't have like the hope element. And I think that was one.
Yeah.
That was a song for me that had more of the hope element, and I wrote that early in recovery, and I think more of the ones I write now have more of that element. So
I was just gonna ask that. Do you find yourself writing more hopeful songs now? Let's see. I feel like we answered a lot of this.
hopefully I'm not talking too much.
No, not at all. Perfect. It's perfect.
Talk about that
Some
Shine
people
song.
don't talk nearly
Shine,
enough.
is that your uplifting kind of song? We were talking about ones to make people dance, because that seems like a very positive, happy kind of song. But it said, that feels hopeful. Was that kind of written like in a place of healing too?
I wrote that one when I was at Glen Bay. That's a rehab facility that's a part of the Cleveland Clinic. It's like I love it. Well, that song's funny because it is really kind of upbeat, and we have this mandolin and banjo part that's like fun Celtic. But the opening line, "Shine on me, keep me from methamphetamine. I've been flying too long." I think it almost comes across as like a prayer,
Yeah,
like keep me from. It's like a happy approach to like, please take away the misery and the meth.
Well, hey, sometimes you have to add a little joy in there.
Yeah.
To some extent.
But I remember writing that song too. I think so. I think that definitely puts a hopeful spin on the situation.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes.
I think I like to joke around a lot. Like, a lot of these topics are super serious, but I know in like 12-step meetings and talking to sponsees and speaking and all this stuff in the shows, I like to joke around a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like
people connect more.
Yeah, I feel like
if you're just serious and telling you, that would, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, you gotta laugh at all of it because otherwise it would kill you.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Have you had fans? You've said a little bit, but are you able to share any times where fans have come to you and share their struggles after hearing your music or like at a show or anything? And how does that make you feel when someone says you've helped them?
That is something that's been happening the last several years. We played this gig. I forget where it was. I think it was somewhere in Tennessee. And like, there weren't very many people there specifically to see us, but this husband and wife came up to me after the show, and they said that that their son was, I believe the story was their son was a big fan of the band, and he died from an overdose, and they got into the music afterwards, and know that like, I don't want to mess it up, but he was fighting it, right? And the music was a piece of that in a hopeful way. Yeah. And they basically came to tell me that, and that he had like lost the battle with addiction. Wow. I've had kind of a lot of that. Like I've had a lot of that through like Facebook Messenger. A lot of people that like, this song helped me with like the suicide of a brother or the loss of a child, or one of the most kind of powerful things that has happened is I got a grant a couple of years ago, and I went into 3 high schools in Ohio, and I did kind of like the show you saw.
Yeah.
I did like the PG version.
Right.
For high school kids, and I was very intimidated because I remember being in high school.
High school kids are intimidating.
And being very intimidated by high school kids.
And
still being intimidated by high school kids. And I remember after I did 4 of them in 4 days. So I did two performances a day for 2 days, and I did this whole region in Ohio where I grew up. The very first one being the school I graduated from.
Oh, wow.
And still some of the same
That'd be the
teachers.
hardest.
That's even
some
scarier.
Some of the same teachers like being like, "Oh my God, we've been praying for you. Like we heard about your madness." But there was, at each one of those, there's a line of kids that, hey, my mom was just arrested, or my older brother is addicted to heroin, or my dad's died, and wanting to just kind of talk to me and thanking me for being there and giving them some perspective, which was really kind of unexpected and powerful. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of your pain is part of their healing now,
Yeah,
which is pretty amazing.
Well, a lot of
stuff
like
you went-
my shows, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No.
and Smilo and the Ghost shows, we have a lot of like mid-30s, like 30-year-old people to like 70-year-old people.
Yeah.
To go into junior high to high school and have like 14-year-olds come up and say, this is powerful to me because of X, Y, and Z, you know, that was kind of a powerful moment for me.
Because at that age, they don't really open up much. So if
Yeah.
your song, and if that brought that out of them, that's pretty magical.
I did get more followers on TikTok though because of
yeah,
it.
that'll do
A
it.
bunch, but yeah, I've gotten a lot of messages. Well, I don't use TikTok a lot, but it seems to be most of the people that follow us on TikTok are a lot of those kids that I perform to.
Yeah.
So I get messages on there too, like, you came to my school, man.
The old people like me
yeah.
watch look at Facebook. They always make fun of me because TikTok's where it's at.
That's very cool, though.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple more questions because I want to make sure we get to your music too. I'd love to hear you play. But what would you say to somebody who's struggling with addiction right now? Like, what advice do you give to like some of your sponsors? What would you say? Just kind of some advice.
Well, I think the most important thing is you have to stop using. Like, all this sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but you can't start the process until you stop using. There's a saying I've heard a lot in kind of the rooms of recovery. It's like, I'd rather be in a meeting wanting to get high than be in a dope house wanting to get clean.
Oh wow, that's good.
So if you can't flirt with sobriety and then question why you don't understand how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is inpatient treatment. I think the problem, though, is a lot of people think inpatient treatment is the end-all, be-all. That's like separation.
Yeah.
You know, that's like separation from your active addiction. And then the follow-up, you know, it's just the beginning. Because I would leave. I did this 9-month treatment center. It was an all-male treatment center in Clinton, Ohio. It was a Christian treatment center. So I went there and lived there 2 different times for 9 months.
Oh wow.
And you know, it was part of the owner were Amish. So we'd have church service 8 times a week, every single day of the week, and then twice on Sunday. And it was like this place. It's like, this is a place for transformation. And then I'd leave and not follow up on anything that I had learned or practiced there, and I'd be using again within a matter of months. And I think you come to this conclusion, like, I can't be fixed. But I found out later that, like, yeah, I like did all this work, and then I just went back to what I used to do. I hung around with the same people.
Yeah.
And not to say, you know, that those people aren't amazing, but like, I can't. There's awesome people down at the bar. I'm sure,
Yeah.
you know, but I can't really go. I don't really go there to find them, you know. So I think the most important thing is get some separation between you and active use, and then having the willingness to do the follow-up work, because you're not going to find. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's been times in my recovery that I've gone to counseling because, like, okay, I've stopped using, but like I'm having suicidal thoughts that come once in a while. So like I'll go and I'll talk to a therapist for a while and kind of come out the other side, cognitive behavioral therapy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just in the last year, I started seeing a different therapist because battling with like self-worth and negative thoughts and negative loops and stuff. So yeah, you have to continue to work on yourself. But I would say, to answer it very quickly after all that, I'd say get to treatment and then get yourself to a meeting and get a sponsor.
Great advice. If someone listening needed a song from you today, which one should they start with, do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Or does it depend on the person and what they need?
I don't know. It's awesome to hear that people like the music, and in the last few years, people starting to actually show up to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I haven't thought it was that great, so I don't want to sit here and act like I think the music's amazing. But if they were, I'd say listen to Twang and Fire, the record that Smilo and the Ghost did in 2024. I think if you're wanting to hear some of this madness that I'm talking about today, but like aren't interested in like super high recording quality, type in my name, Tyler Smilo, on Spotify. I've got 4 albums on there, where I was like a lot younger and going through all this at the time, and I think that there's some gems in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can listen to it and think like, I'm not alone. I can really,
Ghost stuff has better produced now, and where it sounds really good, and I've kind of learned to sing better, and I didn't start off playing guitar and singing very well, but it's funny, we go back and we'll redo some of those songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Hallelujah is a good song too. Hallelujah is one people like a lot, and that's on Smile and the Ghost's second album, Fingers Crossed and Godspeed. So check out Hallelujah.
All right. Perfect. Sounds good.
What are you most proud of today?
That's a good question.
I feel like a lot of time we forget to
Yeah.
acknowledge that stuff.
Yeah, that.
So I'm going to make you.
I think I'm most proud that I did the work to stay clean, and that I stuck around for my son.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my darkest days of addiction, I still wouldn't go long without seeing him. There was never a point where I just up and disappeared. So, and I get him I'm no longer with his mom. We haven't been together for a very long time, but we get along, and I'm able to have him every week.
Wow.
And so I'm most proud of that. And I'm also proud that I'll be getting married this year, and I never
Congratulations.
considered it in the past. And the person I'm marrying, I'm very proud of her. She's very active. She's also in recovery and been clean for, I think, 4 years.
Wow.
And she works at Cadenzia Erie, Stephanie, and she does a lot to give back too. So I'm proud of our relationship and what the future will hold for what we can do for helping other people in addiction.
At your last
Love
show,
that.
when you sang to her, like he had this song, it was so, and your son too. There was one that you sang.
Oh yeah, so that will be my stepson Liam.
Like your steps,
Yeah.
they were so cool, and she was just like, it was a really neat moment. I'm sure she just loves to listen to you, especially when it's something you're making for her.
Yeah, I think she likes it.
All right. So what's next musically and/or personally? We you're getting married, and that's a lot. But musically, what's next for you?
So right now, this time of year has been like a little bit of a downtime for Smilo and the Ghost. So it kind of usually is with the weather.
Yep.
But lots of festivals this summer. We're playing some pretty amazing festivals on the East Coast. This July, we'll be going to Finland. We'll be playing a music festival in Finland.
Wow.
That's so cool.
And then we'll be playing music in Sweden.
Be a global superstar.
Global.
Here.
So
love it.
and I hear in Europe they really go crazy for Americana.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people over there that Americana meaning like kind of like the folk,
Mm-hmm.
bluegrass, fusion,
Yeah.
songwriter thing. And over there's a lot of it happening, but it's influenced by American music. So when an actual American comes over and plays Americana, I guess they're like, So we're excited for that. But yeah, just to continue to make music.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Where can people find your music and information about shows and more about you?
So my name, Tyler Smilo, or you can Google Smilo and the Ghost. We're Smilo and the Ghost on Spotify, Smilo and the Ghost on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
For all you youngins.
Yeah, and our website is smiloandtheghost.com.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, we also we started a music festival last year called Ghost Town Music Festival, and it's in Grove City. And
Let's go to that. Close.
yeah, it's
That's
we've picked bands that like are some of the best songwriters that we are aware of and met from out and about. And not, you might be unfamiliar with their names, but like we kind of put our stamp of approval
Oh yeah.
that they are awesome, and part of it is just like having them come to Pennsylvania so we can watch them. So yeah, Ghost
that.
Town. That's in August.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
All right. So can we ask you to like maybe play a little music
Yeah.
for us now?
Yeah, sure. So this is the song "Blood in the Water" that I was talking about. I wrote this song in 2012, and I had just left Pittsburgh and went to my grandma's in Youngstown to detox from heroin. And yeah. Woke up this morning in a bucket of rain. I'm finding out that we're nothing, yet without our pain. And we all remember when the house began to bleed. No one remembers all the good things we did. Calling on you, yeah, darling, to make it alright. Calling on you, yeah, would you make it okay? Man the ships, 'cause there's blood in the water. Yeah, I can't come back here, no, and ever again. And all those things, hell, they don't seem to matter. Oh, I won't come back here and ever again. No, I won't come back here. No, I won't. I left that city in a rush one day. Barely alive, I let my records play. I rode that whip until the wheels came off. And hello, Ohio, don't you know I'm lost? I'm calling on you, yeah, darling, to make it alright. I'm calling on you, yeah, won't you make it okay? Man the ships, 'cause there's blood in the water. Yeah, I can't come back here, no, and never again. And all those things, hell, it don't seem to matter. Yeah, I won't come back here and ever again. No, I won't come back here. Hell, I can't. Oh, I won't come back here. 47 days since the heat left town. Yeah, don't say my name, no, hell, and don't come around. I ain't sitting here for money, oh, I do this for my truth. Don't you know that needle, hell, it took my youth. I'm calling on you, yeah, darling, to make it alright. I'm calling on you, yeah, would you make it okay? Won't you make me alright? Can you make me alright? Man the ships, 'cause there's blood in the water. Yeah, I can't come back here and never again. And all those things, no, they don't seem to matter. Oh, I won't come back here and ever again. No, I can't come back here.
Wow.
Wow, that was. I wanted
So
to get up
good.
and dance a couple times there.
I can hear you over there.
I know. I was like kind of playing the drums silently. Thank you so much.
You want to do one more?
Yeah. Oh, we'd love to.
There's something in the water that makes me belong. There's something in the water that makes me belong. And then the taking and stealing, oh, something is wrong. And I can't speak, no, I won't speak. Oh, hide away, king. And the darkness, it creeps in, and I don't know where I've been, and I don't know how I got here again, and I don't know how I got here again. Something in the water is deceiving. There's something in the water, it's such a heathen. And then the poking and prodding, hell, something is wrong. And I can't speak, no, I won't speak. I hide away, king. And the darkness, it creeps in, and I don't know where I've been, and I don't know how I got here again, and I don't know how I got here again. Hide away, king. You hide away, king. There's finally something new in the water. There's finally something true in the water. And I'm listening and learning, loving, and I will speak, oh, I must speak, yeah, return of the king. And when the darkness, it creeps in, oh, I'll know what to do, 'cause I'm listening and learning and loving. Loving. Oh, I'm listening. Oh, I'm learning. Oh, I'm loving. Oh, I'm listening. Oh, I'm learning. Oh, I'm loving. Return to the king. Return to the king.
Wow.
Amazing.
That was so good.
Amazing. It feels so special. We get to,
I
most
know.
people have to go see him at like a show. And,
Which you
know,
still
right
should
here.
do.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank
you again
Yeah.
Thank you.
for coming and for playing for us and telling us about your story.
And best of luck with the marriage and, all the shows and everything. You got a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Yep,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello, and thank you again for watching this episode of Stigma Stoppers.
If you'd like more information about NAMI, you can check us out on our website, namierie.org, and you can also check us out on our socials. Facebook, we have an Instagram, and we also have a LinkedIn.
And while you're on our website, you should go ahead and check out our t-shirt store. We get a portion of all the proceeds. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.